I went to Korea. That shit fucking ass.
Korean barbecue is
I don't
good.
mean to be a hater, but it is quite terrible.
I think that Korean food is the worst.
Does Korean food suck? The only way to find out is to fly out there and try it for myself. When I first landed in Korea after that 12-hour flight, that humidity almost killed me. My Moroccan body is used to the nice dry heat, so whenever any humidity is introduced, I always feel like I'm gonna die. Once we got to our Airbnb in Seoul, it was finally time to check out all the good food that this country has to offer. The first thing that I always hit up whenever I land in any Asian country is the convenience stores. The three biggest convenience stores in Korea are G25, CU, and probably the most famous one on earth, 7-Eleven. I tried to inhale as much food as possible from all these places. While the convenience stores in Korea are not as good as the one in Japan, they still had a bunch of really cool stuff like gimbap and triangle gimbap. The triangle gimbap looks very similar to the Japanese onigiri, but they do taste pretty different. Gimbap has a lot more flavor in it, in my opinion, and it uses a lot more spice in both the meat and the rice. And they have a bunch of great flavors. Like my personal favorite was the beef bulgogi. I was eating these things everywhere as a snack while walking around Korea. There's a bunch of other stuff that I also enjoyed from the convenience stores, like these little coffee drink pouches, jelly pouches, chocolates, and ice cream. But the best thing, easily, without question, in any convenience store is the banana milk. When I first saw it, I thought it was a big version of those probiotic drinks that I always buy from Costco. That's why I even bought it in the first place. I didn't know it was milk. But after drinking one, I was hooked, man. And they have all kinds of flavors. They have like strawberry, melon, but the main one is banana. My personal favorite though is melon. Especially after coming back from a long day of walking and having that melon milk from the fridge, dude, it was just amazing. Before I rank all the convenience store foods, I want to first explain my ranking system. The first one is, if there are 5 of these in a room with me, none are escaping. This is pretty simple. If there's 5 Mencho ramen bowls in a room with me, I'm eating all 5 of them. And then we have almost perfect. Now this is for the stuff that's a 9 out of 10. It's missing something, whether that's a spice, whether that's a certain flavor that I prefer. Then we have very good, okay, and then finally the worst category, an insult to life itself. So I think gimbap is honestly, the little convenience store gimbap is gonna go in almost perfect. And the only reason why they're not going to be in the top category is after like 3 or 4 of these, my stomach does kind of hurt a little bit. They are, pretty processed, but they're very, very good. I wish we had some here. I live in California. The only things that we have here are like the onigiris. We don't really have the Korean version with all the spicy rice, but dude, these things were incredible. Alright, the next thing we have is the jelly drinks. The jelly drinks, I don't know, dude. I know they're all hyped up on TikTok. Everyone is talking about how low calorie they are. And that's cool, if you're trying to diet, I guess. It's really low calories, like 20, 30 calories per little bag. But for me, they were kind of gross. I don't know, I couldn't really stomach them. Some of them were pretty good, but a lot of them I just thought were just meh. That's just gonna go in the okay category for me. The next thing is gonna be the convenience store coffee. I had these every single morning. They were so cheap. They were like $1, $2. My favorite one was the mocha version. It's gonna go in almost perfect because it's still a convenience store coffee. It's not gonna be comparable to the other coffees in Korea. And Korea has such a good cafe culture. They have so many amazing cafes there. Some of the best coffee I ever had was in Korea. So the convenience store coffee is just an almost perfect. Now this little 7-Eleven matcha loaf bread thing, I know matcha is not Korean, but this is where I had it. This is going right into an insult to life itself. It tasted like I was eating actual styrofoam. This thing was disgusting. I saw it in the convenience store and I was like, oh, this will be really fun to try. Me and my girlfriend were like, yeah, this will be cool. We went home, we put up a TV show, some Moomin, and I opened up this loaf and it tasted like fucking ass. It just tasted horrible. I was so disappointed. I was like, man, I couldn't believe it. And I had like 1 or 2 slices. My girlfriend had like a slice and we just ended up chucking it in the trash, dude. It was so bad. I don't get who this is for. And I like matcha. It's not like I don't like matcha. It's just this is styrofoam. And finally, the last thing in the convenience store section that I want to rate is banana milk. Banana milk, that's not even a question. Banana milk is going to, if there are 5 of these in a room with me, none are escaping. I had this thing 4 or 5 times a day. I even bought this little thing, this little small banana milk. I even got this pin for banana milk just because I loved it so much. I was drinking these things all the time. We have a kind of version of this here in California, but they're in cartons instead of the plastic ones that look like these little kimchi jars. And they're just not as good here. They're not as, I don't know, they don't taste as good. But banana milk, my god, dude, I think about banana milk every single day. I love banana milk. It is so good, dude. It is so, and it sucks though. This pin, it went on my backpack, but it just kept falling out, which is why there's no more. Oops. Another great thing about these banana milks is that every time I drink milk normally, I get a bunch of acne. But I was drinking these every day and I had no flare-ups. And thank God, because when you're in Korea, they take their skincare so seriously. I was already getting roasted for having skin that was 2 years too old by a skin tech guy. When you're in Korea, you have to have KBBQ. It's mandatory. I ate so much KBBQ, I probably made a decent dent in their cow population. All the beef was incredible. The bulgogis, the short steak, the ribeye, the brisket, everything was amazing, it's perfect. Most places will let you cook the meat in however way you want, but the only true way to eat a steak is medium rare, of course. Some places though did have someone who would cook the meat for you, which was pretty weird for me to get used to, since the only Korean places that I've been to in California, you just do it yourself. I do think I prefer to cook the meat myself because, you know, like I said, I like my meat rare, and when they were cooking it for us, they would kind of overdo it a little bit. Just thinking about the steak gets my mouth watering right now, dude. The meat was so good in Korea. Now, one of the best parts of KBBQ aside from the meat is all the amazing side dishes called banchan that they give you. And it has a pretty interesting history too. They say banchan comes from the Three Kingdoms period, when Buddhism was a big thing and meat wasn't really eaten that much. And this made a lot of meals be based on vegetables and fermented food. Over time, as more fermentation techniques evolved, the meals became to have a lot more structure, and the banchan would also bring a quote-unquote balance of flavors to the meal. And depending on what rank of human you were, you would have more or less of these side dishes. The average farmer would usually have 4, the middle class merchant would have 8, and the royals would have 12 or more. Banchan aren't the only sides that you can get at Korean barbecue. They have things like hangover soups and bone marrow ramen and a bunch of other amazing stuff. The bone marrow ramen has got to be one of the best things I've ever had in my life. I love bone marrow dishes. I've only ever had one bad bone marrow, and that was the time in Budapest, and for some reason they served it to me cold and it felt like I was swallowing a slug. Ranking Korean barbecue, it's the easiest thing ever. Korean barbecue goes straight into, if there's 5 of these in a room with me, none are escaping. I loved it. It was so good. It was so good. And it tasted so much better than the ones we have here in Cali. I know they say Los Angeles has the best Korean food. And I haven't had, you know, Korean food in LA yet. The Korean barbecue in Korea was just another level, dude. The grill even leaves these nice little pretentious char marks on it. It was just so good. Now, I can't rank every single banchan. It's just there's too many banchan to count. But if I had to throw all banchan in a category, it would be almost perfect. There was a couple banchans I just didn't like. There was some where I was like, what the fuck is this thing? My top 3, I would say, is kimchi. Kimchi is so good. Kimchi, I love kimchi. I eat kimchi every single day here at home with almost every single meal. I love the pickled radish. The pickled radish was just so yummy. The pickled radish, like a sweet flavor, was really good. And I love those little cold noodles that they serve on the side, the sweet ones. Another thing Korea does amazing is soup. I'm a soup man. It's my favorite kind of food, and one of the best restaurants we went to in Seoul was in the main station called Milban. This place was on the Michelin guide, and I went here 3 different times during my trip just because of how good it was. They have this short rib soup called Galbitang. I'm sorry, I don't know how to really pronounce these stuff. And it was sensational. Everything was perfect. The meat, the broth, the flavor, the broth, everything. The broth, the flavor, the meat, the broth, everything was just perfect. It was topped with some onions and served with these amazing kimchi and sweet radishes and rice. This dish is like one of the main reasons why I will come back to Korea. Not for the sightseeing, but for this location, for this exact meal. The next soup though that I had in Korea was unfortunately not very good. I was there in the summer and I tried the cold noodle soup. It's supposed to be a staple in the summer in Korea, but I'm not sure if maybe I went to a bad place that was more touristy. I just didn't like it. To me, it tasted like it should have been a side dish, not a main dish. I have nothing against cold soups. The problem with this thing is that it had such a strong vinegar, pickle juice like flavor, and I just couldn't really stomach it. I would be willing to try this one more time at another spot, but for now, I just do not fuck with this dish. In Myeongdong, there's this famous chicken noodle place called Kyoja. The main thing I got here was the kalguksu soup, another amazing soup. It had ground chicken in it with some chicken dumplings with all these amazing tasting thick noodles. The only thing I didn't like here was the kimchi. The kimchi here tasted disgusting. The kimchi here tasted more horseradishy. It was way more fermented than I like personally. It kind of made me gag, to be honest, Joe. But anyways, the final main Korean soup that I had is ginseng chicken soup. It's essentially a whole chicken that breaks apart inside of this great rich broth. I'm no stranger to eating a whole chicken, but I understand if some people can be a little grossed out seeing floating tendons and bones, but that's where your food comes from, and this dish is spectacular. This would be like the perfect food if you're sick in the winter. Okay, so now ranking these, the first one I'm going to rank is the Galbitang. Galbitang is going right at the top. I could genuinely eat 5 of these in one sitting. It was so good, dude. It was like $10. It was the best shit I've ever had in my life. I think about this dish every single day, all the time. I'm always talking about it to my girlfriend. I'm always talking about it to my friends. I talk to anyone who would listen to me about this dish. If you're ever in Korea, go to that restaurant. go. It's so good, and it's in the main Seoul station, so whenever you land in the airport, you're gonna have to go through the station anyway. Just fill up on this thing, dude. It was incredible. I wish I ate it more, honestly. The cold noodle, ooh, the cold noodle. Cold noodle's going into an insult to life itself for me. I don't get it, dude. I don't get the hype behind the cold noodle. I really don't. If someone wants to maybe explain to me why they like it so much, I'm open to anything. But man, the cold noodle was just, it was a rough one. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a rough one. It was one of the few dishes in Korea that I just didn't finish. The kalguksu that I had at the restaurant in Myeongdong was pretty good, you know. The only problem with that place, honestly, was the service. The service there was ass. Everywhere else in Korea, they were very nice. They were very welcoming, very kind. You know, they try to speak to you, even though I don't really speak Korean. And they were very kind. But this place, I would walk in, I would sit down, I would try to order my food. And the first thing, like right after I order, is money now. I was like, holy shit. Like, oh yeah, of course, I'm going to pay you. Don't worry. But give me half a second. My seat was still cold. I just got finished ordering half a second ago, and she's already berating me for cash. And that happened to me twice in Korea, to be fair. But other than the service, this place is good. I don't know if I'll go back, honestly. I went twice, and after the second time, I kind of had my fill of this location. And Myeongdong, you know, it's a cool spot, but it's kind of touristy. But if you're in Korea, I would try it at least once. So it goes in almost perfect. Next is the ginseng. Ah man, this thing was fantastic. I had it in a puffer fish broth instead of the normal broth, because we went to the specialized location, and it was really good, dude. It was really good. Now I don't know if I would put it on the level as Galbitang, but I would put it right under it. I think it goes in almost perfect. The only thing about it that I didn't really like, just bones are just annoying to deal with. Get a little bone in your throat and you die. Other than the bone thing, it was good. And like I said before, I have no problem seeing little tendons and chicken hearts. I don't care about that. That doesn't bother me. But it was so good, dude. The ginger, the rice, the flavor, it was perfect. Oh, not perfect, it was almost perfect. And it would be perfect for the winter. I think if I was in Korea in the winter, this would be up higher, just because it's so filling. It was so good. But because it was hot as hell when I was eating it and humid, I still enjoyed it, but it's just gonna go in an almost perfect for now. When you're walking around Korea, you're gonna see this place called Egg Drop a lot. When you see it, go inside immediately. This place has the best egg breakfast sandwiches that I've ever had anywhere on this planet. The bulgogi egg sandwich is insane. All the sauce, all the flavor, it's just so good. I went back to this place a bunch of times during my trip. They have the locations all over. There's another place that's similar to this called Isaac Toast, but I just didn't really like it that much, to be honest with you. If you have to pick between the two, always go to Egg Drop. Egg Drop forever. And they're always nearby each other. Near the first egg drop that I ever went to was this place that sold red bean walnut cakes. Red bean walnut cakes are fantastic. Koreans know exactly what they're doing when it comes to sweets. These things are perfect. They had a bunch of different kinds of stuffing with butter and Nutella, and I loved all the red bean pastries that I had in general. Honestly, red bean is just a great sweet snack. A lot of the breakfast foods and the pastries were just fantastic. And another huge pastry trend in Korea right now is salt bread. I was eating salt bread all the time. I love them. They taste exactly what they look like a salty croissant kind of thing. When there is a little bit of chocolate in the center, it's so good. It's almost as good as the classic chocolate croissant, but that's just in a league of its own. And the only reason why I can't rank this higher than croissants is that croissants are like a childhood staple for me, and I have a lot of memories tied to eating them, and they're forever gonna be one of my favorites. But this is right below. Another great, more street foodie pastry thing is the Hotteok. These things are fantastic. I love them so much. They come in all kinds of different fillings: the cheese, the seeds, the sugar, the nuts. My personal favorite was the cheese Hotteok. There's nothing really like this in America that I can kind of compare this to, but if you ever had Moroccan beignets, they kind of taste like that. Not the American beignets. American beignets taste a lot different. It was just a really nice, sweet, fried pastry. I love these things, man. I think about them all the time. When it comes to rating all the pastries that I had in Korea, the first thing is Egg Drop. Egg Drop is going to, if there's 5 of these in the room with me, none are escaping. Every time I would go to Egg Drop, I would order 2 or 3 sandwiches, and I would knock them out, dude. They were fantastic. Isaac Toast is gonna go in okay. I know they're very similar, but to me, I don't know. Isaac Toast didn't hit the same. The flavor wasn't there. The egg didn't taste as good. The sauces were not anywhere near as good. And red bean pastries, I think I'm gonna pop those in the top category. If there's 5 of these in the room with me, none are escaping. Red bean was just, it's so good, dude. I really like red bean, you know. It's not something that I really eat a lot here in California, but whenever I'm in Asia, I knock them out, dude. They're fantastic. They're not super sweet, which I really like. They're the perfect flavor, I would say. They're not too sugary, they're not too not sweet, but they're just so good, dude. Salt bread, oh man, salt bread is going in the top category as well. If there's 5 salt breads in the room, I'm knocking out all 5. Well, of course, you know, I compare them to croissants, and they're not as good as croissants, but croissants for me are just in a league of their own. They're in a category above this. I wish we had salt bread out here. And the salt bread, you know, I definitely think I'm gonna ask my girlfriend to try to make them sometime because I'm not a good cook. The salt bread was fantastic, dude. They were very buttery, very not super salty, but that little salt flavor is fantastic. And I love salt when it comes to pastries. Like I like to put a little bit of salt in my coffee as well. And if you're someone who likes that too, you're gonna love it. They're fantastic. They go perfect with coffee. Hotteok is also gonna go right on the top. These were so good. The Hotteok, you know, I never really had anything like that outside of Moroccan pastries, and the Hotteok is just so good. It brought back a lot of memories from my childhood, and it was so good. If you ever see these, eat them all. Eat 10 of them, eat 30 of them if you can. They're fantastic. Now on this trip, I did not only go to Seoul. On my visit, I also took the bus down to Busan to experience more street food and fish. The first fish that I wanted to try was octopus. There's this old Korean film called Old Boy, and a scene that stuck in my mind forever is when the main character eats this octopus alive. And at the time that I watched this movie, I didn't know that was a real thing, but when I found out it was, I decided that I had to try this for myself. The octopus is not technically alive when you eat it, but it's killed right before and it's served in the most fresh way that's possible and still moving on your plate. I'm not gonna lie to you, the texture and feeling this thing was disgusting. The suckers stick in your mouth and you have to be really careful when you chew so you don't choke to death. It's an interesting novelty, but I don't think I'll ever eat this again. It didn't taste bad or anything, but the visual stimulus of my dish wiggling around it was too much for me personally. I was also just praying that I wouldn't die of a parasite from eating this thing. We ended up getting some Korean barbecue right after this so I can forget this poor octopus's death on my plate. But octopus isn't the only fish that you can eat in Busan, of course. Another fish that we tried down there was the puffer fish. This was my first time ever eating a puffer fish, and I didn't really know what to expect eating it. In Korean restaurants, they have to be certified in handling puffer fish because if you cut it wrong, it can poison and just kill you. And the puffer fish was surprisingly really good. It didn't really have a fishy flavor to it at all. It honestly tasted more like poultry to me than an ocean animal, but I get why people call it a delicacy or a fancy fish or whatever, and I would definitely eat this again from somewhere that's certified. Now ranking these two, octopus, I don't know where to put octopus, dude. It didn't taste bad. Like, in all honesty, it didn't taste bad. It didn't really have a flavor to it. Most of the flavor came from the sesame seeds that were piled on the dish and the soy sauce, but the actual dish itself, it's just gonna be okay to me. It wasn't bad, it wasn't very good. It's just that texture, that slimy little fish swimming down your throat. It just I felt so wrong. I felt so bad for the octopus too. It's like this poor guy, you know, just got fucked over kind of. And a lot of the fish in Korea I kind of felt bad for because they had these really small tanks outside of every single restaurant. And it's like these little prisons and you see this sad little octopus just waving at you like, hey man, you know, I'm gonna be on your plate later, unfortunately. And the next thing is the puffer fish. The puffer fish I had this like gravy sauce on it, and I think it's gonna go on almost perfect for me. Not because it wasn't, you know, amazing. It was almost perfect, but I think the sauce they served it with, I just wasn't really a big fan of. I think if they use a different kind of sauce, it would be in that top category, in the top 5, whatever, none are escaping whatever list thing. But because of that gravy, the gravy, I don't know, it's kind of gross. It was too heavy for my liking, but the fish itself was fantastic. The actual flavor of the meat was so good, dude. Korea has great fish and great steak, but one thing that I haven't really mentioned yet that's amazing in Korea is all the fried chicken. They took fried chicken and they ran with it, man. The fried chicken in Korea is better than any fried chicken I've ever had in the US, and it's not even close. The fried chicken in Korea, dude, I don't know how they came up with it, but the fried chicken in Korea was perfect. They even serve it in a fancy way. They let you use these metal tongs to pick up your chicken. At the table, they have a little trash can for you to spit out the bones. And it was such a fun experience. We went back a couple different times, and every single time they would serve it with the banchan on the sides and the chicken, and it was a lot of chicken, dude. It'd be like a pound of chicken for maybe 15-20 bucks. It was incredible. I don't think we had a single bad fried chicken experience. And even at the restaurant, one time I left my Metro card at my seat at the fried chicken restaurant, and the guy ran after me, the owner, and he was running up and down the streets, and it was nighttime. He was like, and he finally found me, tapped on my shoulder, and I thought, you know, it was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get mugged or something. But he taps on my shoulder, and he was this big dude, and he's like, here, he hands me my card, and I was like, holy shit. And you know, the hospitality was great at the fried chicken restaurants, a lot better than that restaurant. God, that restaurant, they were such dicks. I spent about 30 days traveling between Korea and Japan in August, and I just had a fantastic time in Korea. I spent most of my time in Korea than in Japan. I think I spent maybe about 2.5 weeks in just Korea, and it was fantastic, dude. The food was incredible. There's still a lot that I want to see in Korea. There's still a lot that I missed out on. Like Jeju Island was a thing that we didn't really get to see, unfortunately. I wanted to see the DMZ, but our tour got canceled twice because of weather conditions. The weather was all over the place when we were there, which is unfortunate. So I do want to go back, and I definitely think next time I come back, I'm not coming in the summer. The summer in Korea was brutal, dude. All these loud ass cicadas bounced around your ear, the humidity just melting me to death. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I cut from this video just because it was getting too long, and this is like my third time re-recording this. I just wanted to get it out. But Korea is just, it's an incredible country. I really had such a good time, and it's too bad. At least when I first had the script for this video, that's when it was getting all the hate. All the Korean food was getting hate. But right now, that's all kind of died down, so I feel like there's no point. But anyways, if you're Korean and you have any like food that you think that I missed out on, or anything that you think I should have done, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know. I'd love to hear from you guys. Like, what do you think I missed? What is a Korean food staple that I missed? I know there's a couple things that I just didn't have time to, like, shit, I don't remember. And another thing, I went to Korea and Japan, and Korean food was low-key a little better. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Korean food was better. I enjoyed it more than the food that I had in Japan. But yeah, if you're Korean, just let me know. Give me some tips. I want to know next time I'm there, what should I try? What restaurants do I have to go to? What kind of food did I miss out on? What kind of pastries? What kind of... just whatever, dude. I would love to hear it. Not just from Seoul and Busan. Like, give me other cities too that I can visit. When I was there, I only saw Seoul and Busan. So if you have any tips or any other places that I should see, outside Jeju Island, of course. I know that's a big one that I missed. But yeah, just let me know. Thank you so much for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe.